Hey y'all, welcome to a Saints film study. My name is Jeff Nowak, digital sports producer for NOLA.com. And this week, I wanted to do a bit of what I'll call an opposition report. So instead of taking another look at Taysom Hill playing the Falcons for the second time, I wanted to look at a different quarterback, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Eagles, a rookie quarterback who will get to start this week in place of Carson Wentz, who the Eagles are sending to the bench this week. For the Saints, it presents a bit of a difficulty because this is a quarterback they didn't expect to have to scout for. You know, they said earlier in the week they were preparing for both. But, you know, no matter what, this is a guy who you can't entirely be sure what to expect from. He's a guy who has only gotten 26 quarterback snaps last week. He had intermittent snaps throughout the first 12 weeks. So it's very similar to how the Saints use Taysom Hill in that, you know, you can't really glean a ton off of those snaps because he wasn't really being used as a quarterback. He was being used as kind of like Swiss Army knife gadget type guy. And so the Saints are kind of in the lurch trying to figure out what to take away from last week, what to take away from his college tape from the first 12 weeks of the season, and what to bring into the game plan for Sunday for week 14. And so I decided to take a look at some of these snaps, try to figure out, you know, what the Saints are looking at, what the Eagles might bring for Jalen Hurts, what might stay the same, what might change. He ran all of his snaps, all 100% of his snaps out of the shotgun in week 13. I expect that to change slightly, although I still think he will run a majority of his snaps out of the shotgun. They also ran, from what I could tell, 100% of his snaps out of 11 personnel, which I was a bit surprised by because the Eagles have two really good tight ends in Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. They've actually run more 12 personnel than any other NFL team. So I think that'll change. I think you're going to see a little more power, a little more two tight end sets. You're going to see more actual runs. They only ran once in the game, a traditional run. It was a draw play on 3rd and long. So they were clearly operating with a very limited game plan for Jalen Hurts because he was not the quarterback going into the week, which is going to be different this time around. So you're going to see a little bit of different looks from Jalen Hurts. But a couple things stood out. One, he looks very poised. He looks very patient in the offense itself. He looked comfortable rolling out. He looked ready to make throws downfield rather than, you know, panicking and scrambling. He did scramble quite a bit. He scrambled 7 times against the Packers, which a couple of those were bad reads. A couple of those were kind of jittery, antsy looks. But he had some success on those plays, and generally speaking, he made the right call. He made the right decision when he did run. There were 2 that I identified that were not. But the other thing to keep in mind is the Eagles receivers did him no favors. As you could see earlier in the game, let's see, I think it's this play. It is. You'll see. This is, in my opinion, an unacceptable way to play offense for a receiver. Watch this guy at the top. He's going to go on an out route and literally just run his route out of bounds and sit there. And Jalen Hurts kind of misses a read in the middle of the field. There's a guy who's going to come open right here. I think Jalen Hurts didn't want to make this throw because there's a safety lurking, and he's just trying not to make a mistake. And he escapes the pocket this way. He goes to scramble, and when he does that, this receiver is literally standing out of bounds and never even makes an attempt to come back in, to the point that you could actually have called him for unsportsmanlike conduct because that is against the rules to go out of bounds and not come back in. You'll see it here. And this is just, you know, the Eagles receivers are really just kind of brutal to watch in terms of how they handle just basic things in the offense. Like, this is just how? I get it's called an out route, but it doesn't mean you go and sit on the bench when you're done running it. And you'll see how long it takes him to actually come back in bounds. He's still out of bounds. Jalen Hurts has broken the pocket. He's scrambling to that side of the field, and the receiver still isn't in bounds. Realistically, he could throw it to him if he was in bounds, working back toward the quarterback and get a decent gain. And he barely come back in time to even like throw a block on the quarterback scramble. And that's just a bad play by the Eagles wide receiver. They show very poor sideline discipline. Greg Ward on this play, I want to say this is a 3rd and 8. Is it? Let's see. Yeah, so this is the 3rd and 8 play. This is a really nifty play design. This is a really effective play. You have Greg Ward kind of working up, and he's going to break out on the out, and you have this guy kind of dragging these players upfield. And this kind of creates a natural rub here between these two defenders who can't work over on the out. And Greg Ward is wide open. If he is aware of where he is in the field and sets himself, he makes a really nice catch for a first down here on a questionably thrown ball by Hurts, but he just doesn't do that. And he sets up too close to the sideline. He doesn't control his momentum, and he just gets carried out of bounds. You can blame Jalen Hurts for this throw, but this is a rookie quarterback on the run, finding a guy. You got to help him out. NFL receivers, I tweeted this, and I tweeted this image right here. And I said, this has got to be a catch. This is on Greg Ward. You got to help your quarterback out. And someone said, this is an uncatchable ball. It's not an uncatchable ball. He caught it. He just didn't prepare for it. He didn't brace himself so his momentum was coming back toward the ball as opposed to going out of bounds. You need to attack the ball, not let the ball attack you. And he gets carried out of bounds here. You know, would you like to see Jalen Hurts throw a better pass? Sure, but you know, your quarterback's, he needs some help here, and you got to help him out. And Greg Ward did not here. And Greg Ward was not alone. We don't need to hammer Greg Ward too much. This is I want to say the next play. Yeah, this is 4th and 8, and Alshon Jeffrey pushes off on a play he did not have to. Jalen Hurts makes a nice early throw. You can see Jalen Hurts excels when he's able to throw with anticipation, when he's able to power the ball to the boundary. He's got good arm strength, not great, but good arm strength. He gets the ball there on time. And here, Alshon Jeffrey clearly pushes off. And I think that's what happens when you just are frustrated by not getting separation on your routes. He's a big wide receiver. He doesn't have to do that. He can come back and body him out. He just doesn't. So that's another play that sets up the 4th and 18 for the touchdown, Jalen Hurts touchdown pass. This is later in the game. You have Travis Fulgham, who runs a really nice route. You know, Travis Fulgham, I think, is a really solid player. He gets upfield, he breaks off a fade, comes back wide open, and Jalen Hurts finds him. And really nice throw, hits him on the numbers, and drop. You know, and it's actually worse than it looks, even beyond just poor catch mechanics. He lets the ball get into him, and you'll see right here, not only does he just fail to use his hands on this catch, you know, his hands should be close together than attacking the ball. They're not. His foot's out of bounds. Even if he catches this ball, it's incomplete. And that's, you know, for a team, for receivers that struggle to get separation, when they do get it, to just not know where you are in the field, to have poor sideline discipline, that's brutal. And that's not a product of Carson Wentz. That's not a product of Jalen Hurts. That's just bad football. You know, I think Jalen Hurts, I was impressed watching this game. I was impressed with some of the throws he was able to make. But until the receivers help him out a little bit, he's going to struggle the same way that Carson Wentz did. And because the offensive line is going to have the same struggles it has all season. Jalen Hurts might do a little better job of navigating that. He's a bit more athletic than Carson Wentz. You know, but Carson Wentz is a good athlete too. So it's not, you know, he's just as good at extending the play as anybody out there. So there's a long way to go for the Eagles. It's not just Jalen Hurts, but I think there is a lot to like about Jalen Hurts. And if the receivers can get on the same page, maybe they'd be a little more engaged. I don't know, but that's just bad football. So we'll let this run a little bit. Here's the interception. This is not Jalen Hurts' fault. You probably would like to see him evade the rush a little better and create that throwing lane so his arm doesn't get hit, but he's just trying to make a play. He makes a good read. He throws to an open receiver. His arm gets hit. It's an interception. Packers defensive back makes a good play. Game was really over at this point anyway. It was a 2-score game, 2 minutes left. But yeah, that's just that's a learn from it play. Now here's something we can go through real quick. 5 read option plays in this game. They ran 1 RPO. And the difference between read option and RPO is a read option is a run play. You're not passing it. You're reading the edge and you are making a determination whether you should give it to the running back or run it yourself as a quarterback. It's a quarterback run option. But the Eagles, unlike the Saints, will run more traditional RPOs, which is a run pass option. So instead of deciding between the quarterback keeper and the running back handoff, you are deciding between pass options and a running back handoff. In this case, it's a middle RPO where you're reading the middle linebacker and you're deciding whether to give the ball to, whether to pass it. So you're reading this guy and you're deciding whether to pass it to, Zach Ertz here, to, I want to say that's Jalen Reagor on the dig, or you're handing it off to Boston Scott here on the stretch. And it's a pretty simple read, but it is a difficult thing to cover. And it's going to be something the Saints, I'm sure, will be presented with. So what you're seeing here, so I'll let you watch this one, and then we'll flip around to the reverse angle, and I'll mark it up like a maniac, like I do. That's Boston Scott, former Saints running back for a couple weeks there. Good to see him latch on with the Eagles the last couple seasons. This play actually gets called back for a hold, but you can see why it's effective. So I'll pause when we get to the mesh point here. So boom, you can tell, it can be tough to tell the difference between a play action and a RPO, but you can usually tell because of the length of the mesh point. You're trying to extend it as long as possible to make this guy in the middle of the field commit one way or the other. If he sinks up the field, up the seam, then you have that dig coming in underneath, that shallow dig, shallow cross. If he attacks the run, then you have Ertz coming in behind him on that little quick, whatever you want to call it, little seam route. But if he slow plays it the way he does, the ball gets handed off to Boston Scott on the stretch run, and he's able to attack this this light side of the defense because the middle linebacker is not in position to make that play. He's got a long run to try to get there, and you have a pulling blocker by this point to get up there. Now, this decision has to be made quickly, right? And that's usually a way you can tell between a play action pass and an RPO pass, because this pass, if it goes out, needs to get upfield before this blocker gets to the second level and takes this guy out. Because if you don't, it's an ineligible man downfield by the time you throw the ball. So that's why, if you see a play and you're not sure if it's an RPO or play action, but the quarterback takes it and sits back and like scans his progressions, it wasn't an RPO. The line is pass blocking, and you can pretty much tell there. Here it's different. And so this play works. I mean, it gets called back for a hold, but it's a really effective play. It wasn't much of a hold, and you can see why it would work if 62 is able to make that block. Or I'm sorry, if 73 is able to hold up here without fouling. Because look how far the middle linebacker has to go to support, to help on this tackle. He's just not going to get there if this blocking holds up and Boston Scott can hit this lane, which he does for 26 yards before it gets called back on the penalty. And so that's just a play that you need to be disciplined. This is the hold here, which, you could argue that it's not much of a hold, but hey, got called, whatever. And that's what you have here. And so it's a play designed to make the defense wrong, whether they were right initially or not. And it's a very difficult thing to cover, and it's something the Eagles love to do, and they're going to do with Jalen Hurts. I expect to see more of that, whether it's this exact read or they do more edge reads, who's to say, but I think you'll see this read come back at least once against the Saints, and you'll probably see it with Boston Scott. So moving forward a little bit, I wanted to go back to one thing that I saw early in the game, which is the Eagles were really trying to roll Jalen Hurts out of the pocket. They were trying to get him into space, except early in the game, they tried to do it on 2 plays with him rolling against his body. I don't think that's the correct way to try to get Jalen Hurts in space. But the Eagles are going to try to do it. So they play action this direction, and they have Jalen Hurts come on this kind of naked boot over here with the goal of hitting this crossing route underneath 2 clear out routes. So the hope is that you get these defenders to carry upfield and this safety to sink over the top of those, which gives you the space to hit this route if the receiver kind of fights through the middle and gets open. But what happens is the safety at the top clearly is not worried about Jalen Hurts hitting this throw. So he just crashes down on this crossing route and takes it away. Jalen Hurts considers throwing it there. It looks like it's open initially, but because of the way he's rolling out against his arm, he's not able to flip around and make that throw. It's gonna take too long to flip around, and by the time he does that, it's probably a pick six. So he does the smart thing and he just eats it for a short gain. But it's a play that the Eagles clearly like. They ran it twice early with Hurts on the field. It's a play he's clearly comfortable in, and I think the Saints are going to see the Eagles try to get him with it. here's the reverse angle, and you can see he wants to make that throw. He's just not able to flip around the way that Aaron Rodgers did against the Saints earlier this year, and he's done it so well his entire career of just flipping and flicking that ball downfield so effectively. They ran it again here. This is the same play. Slightly different in how you have the receiver aligned on this side. So he's coming on a corner route instead of a fade. But you still have the same kind of crossing concept here with the clear outs where Hurts is coming over here and trying to hit this guy. But the Packers, because you flip that into a corner, the Packers are playing this like a fade. He expects this receiver to carry upfield and the safety take him. But when he breaks on the corner and Kevin King sits down to take away that crossing route the way he did before, this corner is wide open. But because of the way Hurts is rolling out, he can't hit him. This should be a touchdown. I mean, look at what happens on this corner. There is no one here to take the corner out. This is a touchdown pass if Hurts is able to flip around and throw the ball. But again, I've harped on this enough. He can't because the pressure coming upfield, if he's rolling out to his opposite side and you run the same play, it's a touchdown. You might not get the same look. You might not get the same kind of naked bootleg action, but this clearly isn't working. And if he's able to do that, and he just didn't show it in this game, fine. But I think this is something that needs to be phased out. It'll be interesting to see if they run this play differently against the Saints in Week 14 or if they stick with it. But you can see later in the game the difference in Jalen Hurts' confidence level throwing the ball and success when he does flip or when he rolls out to his arm side. He threw a nice touchdown pass on a corner. The very similar route concept late in the game, it was a dagger concept that the Eagles have run for years with a divide at the top, and this is on 4th and 18. It attacks the single high safety because the Packers are kind of in this picket fence look to protect the sticks. Like they're just saying you are not getting a first down, but they don't protect the end zone. You have Greg Ward coming up on the corner. You have Alshon Jeffrey going the opposite way. And you have dig in behind it. The dig is what you're actually trying to hit, but because of the picket fence, like they can't do it. And so Jalen Hurts sees the rush, he buys time, gets outside, and he makes a really nice throw to Greg Ward, who redeemed himself a bit from that earlier gaffe. And you can see the ease with which he's able to throw this ball compared to the others, the first two that we looked at. And nice throw, wide open. He could have easily hit Alshon Jeffrey on the opposite side of the field if he wanted to try to throw it across the field. He didn't have to, but look at Alshon Jeffrey's literally standing by himself in the end zone. That's a play the Eagles love to run. They're going to run it against the Saints, I guarantee you. I think you're going to see the plays that the Eagles ran successfully in this game come back. Jalen Hurts clearly likes to throw outside the numbers. He likes to hit curl routes. He likes to throw with anticipation, and I think you're going to see that come back against the Saints. He did struggle a bit in terms of reading late drops into zone coverage. He missed a few pretty open receivers. He scrambled early on 2 plays where he had potential big gains. One, he didn't look. Both of those times he didn't check back to his backside for his late progressions. That's just something that I think you get as you get more attuned in the offense. And Taysom Hill has similar issues when it comes to identifying zone drops and trying to make late reads to his third or fourth progression. And it's just one of those things that you have to kind of work through. Trying to get to. Okay. This is by far Jalen Hurts' best throw of the game. It was his first pass attempt of the game, and it just shows what he does very well relative to how he's going to be covered, which is he's going to see a lot of single high or cover zero. He's going to see a lot of man, which he gets here at the bottom. You have a safety showing pressure, but he's going to drop out into this kind of cover one look, but he's really just covering the seam. He's not going to be able to get on top of either of these receivers if they're going downfield. This safety actually comes on pressure, and you see pressure come right up into Jalen Hurts' face as he's about to make a throw, but he identifies quickly. He has the press man coverage at the bottom. Jalen Reagor does a nice swim move and gets out on top, and Jalen Hurts makes a gorgeous throw under pressure to Jalen Reagor, rookie to rookie, if I'm Doug Peterson, this is the throw that convinced me I have a new starting quarterback last week. Look, when he throws this ball, he knows Jalen Reagor has Kevin King beat. He gets it out in front of him, lets his receiver go make a play. This is a great quarterback play, a great throw, a great catch. Very impressive. I did not think that Jalen Hurts had this in his arm. And I think this is the only throw you need to see to know that he can be a quarterback in the NFL. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but he clearly has the arm talent with this ball, with good coverage. Jalen Reagor has maybe a step, and he gets it there on the money, on a dime. And that's impressive to me. He made a couple other really nice throws. He only completed 5 passes. He scrambled 7 times. He threw 12, but he made a couple really nice throws. This is a nice one to Dallas Goedert, another quick hitter. Dallas Goedert gets open on the out, and he throws early with anticipation, gets it there. Nice gain. Put yourself in a positive down and distance. Later in the drive, you end up with another kind of green dog look with the safety bailing late. Jalen Hurts sees this. He has man on the outside. He knows that this bailing safety is not going to be able to crunch down, and he hits Zach Ertz on a really nice out route or curl route, whatever you want to call it. Throws it way early, and is a 20-yard gain to his tight end. You know, look where Zach Ertz was when Jalen Hurts threw that ball. And that's just really good quarterback play. That's just understanding where your receiver is going to be. It's showing that you have chemistry with the receiver, with the tight end. It makes your receivers want to run good routes because they know if they do, they're going to get the ball. And that's a positive thing, you know. And as you kind of as he works into the offense a bit more, you might get more comfortable. But I see the vision here for what Jalen Hurts can bring. Here's a good scramble, but it's also a good example of what the Eagles don't do well, and that is get open. One thing that doesn't matter whether you're Jalen Hurts, whether you're Carson Wentz, if the receivers don't get open, you don't have anyone to throw to. And this play is as good as any. Watch what happens on this play. You have 4 routes going downfield. Jalen Hurts has already gotten pressure. He's already been flushed out of the pocket. Who are you throwing to? Not this guy. 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 Like, what do you do here? This is you see this, you know, this is the play I chose to pick. But I could have chosen 12, 15 plays, and they would have all shown this exact same thing. You have no one creating any separation. The free safety looks bored. And that is something that I don't care who the quarterback is. If the receivers aren't creating separation, you have a problem. You have a problem conceptually, and you have a problem tangibly in the offensive self. And I don't know, maybe there's differences with Jalen Hurts in terms of how he can extend plays and how the receivers work to get open off schedule, but this is a problem, and I don't see that changing with Jalen Hurts in there. I don't think that he's going to be able to hold up against the Saints pass rush. He's going to have a similar situation to this where he's getting flushed out, and the Eagles receivers are going to have to get open, and I don't know if they can consistently enough. I think the Saints win this game pretty easily, but I still think you see a lot of positive things from Jalen Hurts, and I was not expecting him to look as poised as he did in this game. Even this scramble, this is a nice scramble. This is a well executed play by him. Despite everything breaking down, despite no one coming open, he understands how to get outside the pocket, how to be patient, but still create a positive play out of it. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But the Saints are a wrecking ball. Saints are a steamroller. Saints are a buzzsaw right now, and I don't see him holding up against their pass rush quite as well as he did against the Packers, or quite as well as it would take to win a game like this. If the Saints pass rush does its job, I think this is over. I think this game is not going to be close. Here's another play. This is the last one I'll show you. Alshon Jeffrey is going to come in behind on the dig, and Jalen Hurts just never sees him. He gets a little antsy in the pocket, and he steps up, despite there being a pretty safe pocket to play from. He gets a little nervous. He steps up. You can see, like, this is one of the few times all game that he actually has a clean pocket. All he has to do is stand tall back there and work across the field and see his backside progression coming open. Nothing is open up here. You do have this dig coming in to space, and you have Alshon Jeffrey, who's a safe target. He's a big guy, and Hurts never sees him. steps up, loses some yards, but generally, I think the Eagles have to be happy with what you're going to see there, and I think he's going to give the Saints some problems, especially early in the game as they try to adapt to what he's going to do without having much film to go off of. But that's it. That's all I'm going to give you today. I appreciate anyone who watched, anyone who got all the way to the end. Again, my name is Jeff Nowak, digital sports producer for NOLA.com. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, New Orleans Saints on NOLA.com, on Twitter @SaintsNow. Hit me up on Twitter @Jeff_Nowak. DMs are always open. Let me know if you want to see any specific film studies, anything else, and I'll see what I can do for you the rest of the season. Follow us on Facebook. Check out NOLA.com /sports/Saints for more daily coverage. And let's see what happens. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.